And welcome to Inside IU East Sports, presented by the Richmond Furniture Gallery. This is Kyle Wright, the Assistant Athletic Director and Sports Information Director here at IU East, keeping the host chair warm this week. Got a couple new coaches we're going to introduce you to this week. A little later on, we'll meet the new volleyball coach here at IU East, but first we're going to meet the new men's golf coach. I'm joined by John Gordon. John, you're about 10 days on the job, and thanks for taking a moment to join us this week.
Thank you very much, Kyle.
All right, well, we're going to kind of get to know your life story first before we talk about your plans and hopes for here at IU East. First off, if you could tell us, looking back to when you were younger, when you very first became interested in golf, and what things about that sport led you to kind of make that one your favorite?
I grew up in a family that liked sports, but what was funny is my dad and my grandfather were big golfers, and so was my uncle, and so my cousins and I all just kind of took up golf, and I can remember having a golf club since I was 3 years old in my hand, and it's kind of like you do what you're good at. And I'll be honest with you, I played baseball also. We had to go to practice at baseball. I could schedule my own practices at golf, and so I would practice every day, but it was kind of more on my time, and so that's kind of why I gave up baseball.
Gotcha. And either way, you hit the ball well, we can see. Well, I actually remember my dad coached at a local high school that coached against your Union County team, so I remember you being at the top of the leaderboard and torching my nights more than a few times. So beyond that, if you could tell us a bit about your high school, college, and amateur golfing career, some of the highlights from your various playing days.
Definitely my biggest highlight was my senior year. We had a very good team, and my individual goal, and obviously the team's, was to go to state. And I just remember walking off of the green at the regional, or the 18th hole, and everybody on the team, it was kind of funny. They were all had this smile because they really didn't know how I played, and they had all played great. And so I just always look back now as if I would have played poorly, it would have been a very depressing moment. But I played really well that day also, and it was a very big day for Union County golf.
Okay. And then you went on to play college golf at Ball State University. Talk a little bit about your time there playing college golf.
College golf, it was funny. There was a one-day event I did finish third in. And other than that, you play 2 or 3 round events. And I would always play one nice round. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'd shoot 80 one day and then 73 the next.
I'd be happy with both.
And so it was stuff like that. I remember one tournament, I had the high round on the team. I shot 86, and then I came back with the low round for the team with 75. And so it was hot and cold.
Okay. And then you've also done well on, I call it the amateur circuit. You've played in some statewide events. Some of your highlights from your post-college playing days.
As far as an amateur, I grew up caddying for a guy named Randy Nichols, and he's been Amateur of the Year roughly 15 times in the state of Indiana. And it would have been 96. Him and I were in the final group of the state amateur competing to win. He had a 4-shot lead on me going into the last round. And that's the only thing I kind of was disappointed in, is it was kind of hard for me to gear up to beat a guy that I really knew was better than me. I grew up caddying for him, but it was a very special experience at the time, caddying for him, and then him and I are in the final group of the state amateur having a chance to win, and he went ahead and won, and I finished 6th that year.
Okay. Then talk about some of the other golfing jobs you've had. I know you're with the Liberty course now. Some of the other positions you've held in golf.
Well, go back to Randy. He owned a driving range going back as you went into Connorsville there in the mid to early 80s, and my grandfather worked for him, and I would drive over there with him all through high school, and I practiced there, and that was my first job. And then I started working out at Liberty Country Club in '92 on the maintenance area of it, and then I turned golf professional and started giving lessons, and I work a lot with juniors at Liberty Country Club.
Okay. And that kind of brings us to the present. I know with your background, we're thrilled to have you here at IU East. How did you hear about the opening we had, and what interested you in perhaps becoming a coach here at IU East?
Our teaching pro was kind of interested in the IU East job, and he told me about it 3 or 4 days before the resume was due, and I sent a resume in, and everything went real well, and here we are.
Okay. And I know, you've been on the job about 10 days or so. In that time, just what sort of goals or what kind of vision have you developed for not only this year but down the road, what you want IU East golf to be?
You know, as me, I'm a competitor, and you know, I like to see the kids being competitive, but I realized, you know, I want great athletes, or excuse me, great student athletes on the team. And, you know, from the kids I've already met and what I've seen is they're really good student athletes, and, you know, I'm enjoying that part of it. And going forward, you know, I'm going to look for more student athletes. I know we're going to try to get up to 12 players on the team and just go in that direction.
Okay. I know you said this is your first shot at college coaching, but you've worked with a lot of younger players. What do you consider your strengths as a coach, and how can you translate that to this older group here?
Well, as far as, you know, golf has a number of different aspects to it. You know, there's chipping, putting, full swing, and this, that, and the other. And, you know, I've always noticed that most people work on their strengths and just keep trying to improve their strengths, and they don't work on their weaknesses. So my goal is, as a coach, is to find players' weaknesses and, you know, develop practices that helps improve their weaknesses. You know, we want to maintain their strengths, but in turn, we definitely need to improve their weaknesses. And so, you know, with golf, it's more of an individual sport, and so basically, you know, each player's practice schedule could be a little different. You know, when we start defining their weaknesses, you know, I'll kind of lean on them to maintain their strengths, but I'll try to go in and help them with their weaknesses.
And last thing, about 30 seconds, just for future recruits who might perhaps be watching the show today, what's your message to them for why they should come to IU East and play golf in your program? I'll do my best to let them be golfers themselves. I realize that when they come in, they have probably had instruction from other instructors. I'm not the kind of person to come in and try to change their swings. You know, I'll see what I think their weaknesses are, and that's what I'll focus on. And I'll want them to pretty much discipline themselves in their own practice schedules. You know, I'll be there looking over them. But golf's an individual sport, and, you know, I'm going to be there for any questions that they may have, but, you know, I'm going to keep an eye on them and see that they discipline themselves in their own practice schedules. Well, again, Coach Gordon, glad to have you on the show. The season actually tees off this weekend, so best of luck not only this weekend, but looking forward to the season as well. And we'll be right back with another new coach, new volleyball coach, Abby Niekamp, here on Inside IU East Sports, presented by the Richmond Furniture Gallery.